Transition, the process or a period of changing from one state or condition to another. In life, we partake in transitions all the time. One lane to the next, this pose to that one, or even this scene to the next. But in my case, professional hockey player, a journeyman in the game, to, well, you see, that's just the thing. A successful transition requires a defined and thought out endpoint. Without an endpoint, the transition remains in limbo, pending, spinny wheel. And not knowing what or where your transition's endpoint is can be quite stressful in a world that defines people by what they do and not who they are. The hardest part about life after professional sports is losing your sense of identity. To reach the highest levels of any craft, of any field, requires total and complete embodiment. You must become the thing of which you pursue. But what happens after? What happens when you are no longer that thing? That musician, that architect, that student, that social worker, that hockey player? Who are you then? Who are you when you no longer do the thing that you identified with for so long? Who are you when you no longer do the thing that you've done your whole life? I'll tell you what. You slow down, you find clarity, and you connect to the source. The contents of the bag are as follows: compass, headlamp, inflatable mat, sleeping bag, compact stove, organic lentil soup, vegan jerky, Honeycrisp apple, 2 oatmeal raisin cookies, reusable spork, magnesium fire starter, knife, toilet paper. Those are the contents of the bag. Hey, creature, you are new. Where did you come from? And when did you arrive? That is my question for you, my friend. Oh. When I'm lacking clarity in my life, when I feel lost, I don't try to find myself. I simply look for silence. I go to a place where I can find peace in my environment, and I listen. I quiet the mind, and I attune myself so that no message can be distorted. You see, the universe speaks, but she speaks softly, and to only those who listen, to those that feel. My favorite part of every day is when the day itself begins to move into the night, when the sun begins to weaken and the sky is moving from blue to black. The transition from day to night, it's one we all know well. There is no rigidity in this transition. There is no clear line when the day ends and the night begins, only a seamless flow. And that's what I love so much. The universe expresses this transition naturally. It isn't in a rush to get from one place to the next, unlike us, unlike me. Maybe our focus in life shouldn't be so much on the destination, point A to point B, but more so on the flowing from one to another, like a gradient in the sky. There's no defined line through a gradient that says where one color ends and the other begins. The gradient exists independently as a transition. But isn't that us? Aren't our own lives similar? Aren't we always changing ourselves?
Now, before you go further, someone who's in the midst of a big transition, we want to just soften that by saying everyone who's focused in their physical body and still living what the doctors call being alive is in the midst of a transition. Yes. Because all day, every day, you are.
For a long time, I thought I was going through a transition. But now I see I am the transition. I am impermanence. I am the gradient. And as life steadily flows forward toward the unknown, I too will flow and grow in its presence.